it is Mindy here, and I wanted to talk about something that I know I personally struggle with quite a bit and have my whole life. My name is Mindy and I'm a sugar addict, or at least I was. I mean, I still like it, right? But I didn't think that was ever anything that I could kick the habit of. And let me tell you, it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So I can't say I completely shut all of that processed type sugar out of my life, but I've cut down quite a bit. So I want to give you just a little insight into that, if that's something that you struggle with. Maybe some of the things that I've done could possibly help you out. So let me just tell you for a moment, when about in September, I started being a participant in a challenge group, and I started eating really, really clean foods. I mean, I always did, and but there was a lot of room for improvement, I found out. So what happened was, I found that when I was eating 90% at least, if not 95% clean foods, that just means no processed foods, okay? So when I was eating about 90 to 95% clean, I was filling my body with such amazing food that I seriously lost my cravings. It's like my body got exactly what it needed from the right foods, including fruits, of course vegetables and all that other good stuff. Yeah, I know, Asana, right? She said sugar is my enemy. Mine too. Like, I can skip the potato chips and all that, but it's the sugar that gets me. So anyways, I was on a good 3-month streak where you seriously put a homemade baked brownie in front of me and I didn't want it. It never has this happened in my life. All right, I had a help from a superfood shake too, which really packed in even more super fruits and greens. So I do have to say that was probably part of it as well. But anyways, so I made it all the way through December. Man, I was all the way almost to Christmas, and then my mom, we have our tradition of making Christmas cookies like most of you do. I mean, I was doing good. We just did this December 20th. Sorry, I got a lot of traffic behind me here. It's like crazy. Behind those trees is like a highway, practically. So anyways, I didn't even necessarily feel like I needed a cookie, but because I'm so used to every year, it's my favorite thing, these sugar cookies with the frosting on them, I gave into it. I had one, then I had two, then I had three, and then I had one a day, then I had two a day, until they were gone. And oh my gosh, I'll tell you what, I've never really been addicted to anything super bad. Just my chapstick, okay? So I thought, I don't really have any major addictions. Well, apparently sugar is one of them, because I think I'm going to equate it to smoking, although I've never been a smoker, or maybe even alcoholic. That's kind of serious. But you know how a smoker completely would try to cut cold turkey, and then they go out with their friends and have a drink and then have that one cigarette, and all of a sudden they're massively hooked again? That is exactly what happened to me. The second I let that back into my life, it was there full force. My 3 to 4 months of keeping it out of my life just went kind of out the drain. So I had to start over again, which was tough. But anyways, after getting through Christmas and the holidays, I kind of got back on track. And now I found that I've kind of struggled with it every once in a while. I kind of go up and down, depending on how good I eat. Now, if I really get on track, I find I don't have those cravings as much anymore. So let me just tell you, this weekend I bombed. Did anybody else bomb this weekend? I'm just curious. Give me a thumbs up. Is there a thumbs down? Because this is what happened to me. I was doing pretty darn good, and I went out for a beer because it was gorgeous out and I had to go sit outside and have a beer. It just seemed like the right thing to do. And that's fine, right? But then it kind of makes you I'm gonna do whatever I want now, right? So I stopped at Noodles to get my kids some food, and you know what was sitting there? Those big Rice Krispie treats. Does anybody, I cannot resist the Rice Krispie treat. I mean, I don't even, why marshmallows too? I know it's disgusting, but I love those damn things. So I got one of those, And I have to say, I don't even know if I was craving it, but it was such a habit for me. And that's why I want to talk about cravings versus habit, because my habit was always to have something sweet after I ate a meal, like after lunch, after dinner. Oh, I have to have a cookie, I have to have something. And I kicked that for a while, but all of a sudden it came back. So I used to go to Noodles, and I would always get that huge Rice Krispie treat. And I'd tell myself I'd eat half, but never. I'd eat the whole damn thing every time. I tried to trick myself, and it would happen. So that's when I have to say that was a habit. Like, I was just back in my old ways of doing my old things. I would have been just fine picking up my kids' meals, coming home, and not having that. But as usual, I ate the whole thing. And then, of course, the next day was Mother's Day. Mother's Day brunch. Well, there weren't a ton of good choices, but they had a dessert tray. Well, the old me always has to try a little of everything. So sure enough, I did that yesterday. Can I just tell you that after not indulging like that, I felt like total crap. Like, within 10 minutes, you're going, oh my gosh, what did I just do? I am going to pay for this dearly. And I should know better, right? I should know better. And I did it anyways. So now it's Monday, and I'm starting over again. So just keep in mind, sometimes it's just a habit that you have not kicked yet, like certain times of the day, like, that 3 or 4 o'clock time, like, ooh, I always get myself this, or at the end of the night you have that bowl of ice cream. I did that too, like, oh, I'll just have a scoop of ice cream every night before I go to bed, sit and watch TV and relax. I deserved it. I worked out today. I had a good day. So does anybody do that? By the way, do you have that end of the night, like the thing if there's something you just literally cannot resist, can you write it down here? Because what's your thing? I mean, my thing is homemade bakery of some sort, cookies, brownies, whatever. Like, if you put it in front of my face, because I don't want it to go to waste. So yeah, I try to keep that stuff out of the house. But anyways, sometimes it's just that habit. Now, I will tell you, the other night, my daughter was having ice cream. So I thought I'd really like some. And I made myself grab an apple instead. Now, did I want that apple? Hell no, I didn't want that apple. It didn't sound good at all, but I made myself do it, and I will tell you, it completely cured that craving that I had. I seriously didn't even want ice cream after that. I made myself eat it, and it was great. I filled up a little bit, took care of that sugar. So also, I want to say real quickly, now, first of all, I'm not a dietitian. This is just personal experience and people that I've talked to and worked with, okay? So let's get that straight. I am not, and neither is my sister. She's a registered dietitian, which makes me almost one, right? Like, I'm like related to one, so I'm like close, right? Don't discount fruit because it has sugar in it, or food items that have sugars in it because it comes from fruit. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about processed white sugar, all right? So don't, like, if you see a diet that says you can't eat fruit, that's what God intended, is for us to eat fruits, vegetables, things that are grown on this planet. So I'd run the other way. And that's personal opinion. Of course, you don't want to sit and eat it all day long, but yes, absolutely have a couple servings a day. And guess what? It is a lot better than grabbing that cake. Now, I have a couple quick tips for you. Here we go. I wrote them down because I can't remember them all, and I want to make sure I get them to you. One thing you can do is try combining foods. So you could mix, like, have a little something sweet, but then have something good with it. So instead of just eating a big chocolate chip cookie, how about have like 2/3 almonds with some chocolate chips in it, like 1/3 chocolate chips. Don't do it the other way. Don't do 2/3 chocolate chips and 1/3 almonds. Okay, it's the other ratio. Give that a shot. All right, so you at least get that sweet taste in your mouth, because sometimes you just need a taste, right? Like a handful of almonds, but I gotta put some like craisins or a little couple chocolate chips in there. Also, if you are seriously craving, and women, you know what I'm talking about, there's certain times where it's like, holy, this isn't habit now, this is like, oh, I am craving some serious chocolate or whatever it is. Give into it a little bit. Allow yourself a little something. Don't let it exceed 150 calories. Okay, just have that in your mind. Like, if you have a set amount or 100, whatever it is you want your number to be, don't go over 150. Don't do that. Okay, so 100, 150. I love this. My daughter's texting me right now if she could. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that. Thanks, Jade. Leave me alone. Go to school. You're supposed to be at school. Do your kids text you during school? It's like, get to school. Okay. Anyways, I got off topic there. So what I'll do if I'm really desperate, and it happens, is I'll grab some dark chocolate. Now, I always hated dark chocolate. Okay, but I've had to kind of train my taste buds to like it. It's still got calories, it's still got fat, all that. But here's one that I've been munching on. I literally take 2 squares at a time, and it generally is enough to satisfy me. Like, I don't need any more, but sometimes you just can't stop thinking about it. So just be done with it. Just grab a little something, okay? The other thing to do, now that's just cutting down. The other thought is just to cut cold turkey. What? Like that? Cold turkey? Screw that. Well, anyways, if you just literally want it out of your life completely, cut cold turkey. The first 48 to 72 hours are going to be hard. No doubt about it. You have years and years and years and years of habit to stop. But believe me, once you get past that 72-hour period, and if you can make it 5 days, you will lose that craving. But don't let it back, because then you're starting all over again, okay? And if you do let it back, small amounts. All right, another thing, I use this trick. Sometimes I just need to taste something, and it's usually sugary. You know, I don't have the salt craving. Grab a stick of gum. Another little trick I do, which I know this isn't fabulous, and I talk about eating clean, but again, as opposed to eating something really crummy, I have these orange mint lifesavers. It's kind of my go-to, and I have one of those because it's just a little sweet, not a ton of calories. I know it's candy, whatever. You know what I mean? We can't be perfect here. I'm not perfect. I have those in my purse for sugar emergencies. All right. You know this one. Grab a piece of fruit. And even if you don't think you want it, just grab it. Just make yourself eat it. It might take care of that craving for you, okay? And the last one, eat regularly. I don't know about you. When I get really hungry, anything goes. If it's in front of my face, I'm gonna eat it, okay? If you know, like, don't go to the grocery store totally hungry and grab that donut. I've done that. I've done that where it's like I'm walking past the bakery and I love glazed donuts. Have a little something beforehand before you go grocery shopping. Don't go buy something, then you get in the car and you start eating it. I've done that too. So those are just some little tips. If you got some tips, drop them below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you have sugar cravings? What's the thing that you just can't resist? And by the way, the thing you can't resist, don't have it in your house. That's just kind of obvious, right? But I know in the past I've been like, oh, what if I have an emergency? What if I... No, just don't have it. It's that simple, okay? That's all, everybody. Take care. Mwah, mwah.